Hey guys, Michael the DC Multiverse Collector here, bringing you this review of the McFarlane Collector Edition Superman and Krypto. Now this is number 9 in the Collector Edition line. We see the number 9, Superman and Krypto from the Return of Superman storyline. Now, anyone who's been reading comics doesn't need me to tell them that the Return of Superman followed the death of Superman. It was a whole sort of event in the 90s, redefined how comics treated long-form storytelling in the context of deaths of major characters, extremely influential stuff. Here we have Superman in his 90s Return of Superman look with that long mullet, and we also have Krypto, his faithful canine. This is an interesting collector edition. When I first saw it, I was slightly disappointed. I thought there was a lot of reuse, but then again, Krypto piqued my interest, and I thought that that was a really fun accessory. And I'm really interested to see if the Krypto here can sort of make up for the lack of new and the lack of accessories. I mean, I can see we've got some gesture hands, and it looks like we have a display stand and a card stand, and that's about it. But I think Krypto is one of the more interesting accessories that we've had in a while. Anyway, like I said, on the side, Superman and Krypto, Return of Superman, and on the back, we have this beautiful art from Return of Superman, with Superman standing atop Doomsday, holding the American flag. Before I open this up, I just wanted to say a big thank you to Head Start Toys and McFarlane Toys for providing this sample for review. So let's get into it. Let's get the box open and see what we get. Alright, so here's Krypto and Superman out of the box with all their accessories. Let's move through these pretty quickly so we can have a look at the figures. Starting off with the least interesting, we have the DC display stand with the silver logo painted. That's unique to the Collector Edition figures. Okay, next we have this card stand. Now, as you know, if you've been watching any of my Collector Edition videos, I think these are a waste of budget and a waste of space. I don't know anyone who displays their figures with these things, but, you know, it's pretty much the same as all the others, except there's a slight difference in the paintwork for how the DC sculpted logo looks. But yeah, I'm not going to do a comparison because I just don't care, and I don't think you care either. Moving on, we have the card. I think these look really nice in the Collector Edition. They have that silver writing down the side, glossy and beautiful. The art looks great. It's borderless. I really like that. And we have the data file on the back. Unfortunately, it's just a generic Superman, Kal-El, Clark Kent bio. Nothing unique to the Return of Superman story. I wish they'd take the opportunity to use these data files to give a bit more context about the source material that the figure design is derived from. I think that would add a bit of value and a bit of educational purpose as well for those who aren't as familiar with the storyline, but it is what it is. Next, you'll see that Superman comes with a pair of gesture hands. So he comes with fisty hands out of the box, and in the box we get these big lumbering sort of sexual harassment hands. I don't know what else to call them. They're just big and gropey looking. Maybe some flight hands would have been better. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But extra hands are always good, but these are old. Seen them before. Moving on. Now here's sort of the main meal, and the question really is Krypto an accessory or a figure in a 2-pack? The box says Superman and Krypto, sort of purporting to be a 2-pack, but when you look at this little guy, you'll see that he's really just an accessory because there is not much going on with this figure. But what we do have is Superman's faithful canine, kind of lovingly rendered. Like it's a nice enough sculpt. You can see kind of the proportions are nice. There's musculature on Krypto. I really, really like that. He sort of strikes a noble profile. So I think they've nailed the spirit of Krypto, if I can put it that way. I think that's reproduced quite nicely. You'll notice that on mine there is some paint slop on his nose. It looks like his nose has been rubbed in blue, red and yellow paint. That's a bit of a shame, but yeah, your mileage may vary on that. You'll see we have the emblem, which is nicely sculpted on his collar. I really, really like that. And you'll see we have a cloth cape, which is really interesting because the figure itself doesn't articulate at all. It's a solid hunk of plastic. It's interesting to include a cloth cape with a figure that doesn't articulate because of course the strength of the cloth cape is that you could articulate this guy in a number of poses and the cape would allow for that, so you could do some fun things. But because this guy doesn't really pose and is frozen like this, what is the point of this? Like, would it not have been better to sculpt a cape that was maybe a little bit more dramatic? You know, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. I think it's just an odd choice. But I suppose you could drape it over the side or over that side. Yeah, that looks okay. But anyway, Krypto is fine. What he's not, though, is he's not a figure. Now, I know a lot of people are wishing that he was more detailed and more articulated, and I certainly understand that perspective. I think an articulated Krypto would have been incredible to get, but that really, all the tooling required for an articulated dog would have made this a proper 2-pack with a proper 2-pack price tag, 40, 50 US bucks. 70, 80 Australian dollars. I've heard people can make the comparison to the G.I. Joe classified line, which has these really awesome 2-packs with articulated dogs. And they're awesome, but they are as expensive as proper 2-packs. And I just don't know that Krypto is enough of a draw to justify the cost of a 2-pack. But let me know in the comments below, would you have liked to have seen a more expensive package with an articulated Krypto? So that's Krypto. Not a whole lot to say. And really, when we look at the Superman figure as well, there isn't that much to say, honestly. This body buck is the Chad Superman body buck. The Dark Knight Returns Frank Miller Superman body buck, which was an interesting buck for its time. It was, really roided out in that Frank Miller exaggerated style. And so it's interesting to see them try and use that buck here for a figure that's not meant to be that exaggerated and heightened. I know that there's going to be a Bizarro Batzarro 2-pack coming very, very soon, where the figures sort of share these Dark Knight Frank Miller bucks to quite good effect. That's a real good match. I don't know whether Return of Superman is a good match for this buck. It's okay. It's not my mind's eye of Return of Superman. He's more slender, big, but the proportions are more athletic. This is like bodybuilder rather than athlete. So anyway, your mileage may vary. You'll see that the colors are very different from the Dark Knight Returns Superman. So this is a very, very light blue, and I actually really love the color. I think that's probably my favorite part of this figure, is that gorgeous, really bright light blue color scheme. I think it might be the lightest blue Superman we've got. We'll have a look at some comparisons later, but the lighter the better. I think it looks really good. The red is maybe a little bit dark and not as bright as I would like, but it looks fine overall. And I like the detail on the belt buckle. That's nice. The boots look good. You'll see that the symbol is just the Dark Knight Returns symbol, which isn't really comic accurate. This is not really what the symbol looked like, but it's close enough that you can fudge it, and I can't be too mad with that. The head sculpt is not new either. The head sculpt is just the Action Comics 1000 Superman head that we've had a zillion times. It's probably McFarlane's best Superman head to date, but it is pretty old. And the only thing new is this mullet style haircut. It was the 90s. It was a hell of a decade. This cape we've seen many times. No S on the cape. I don't know. We've seen this a few times. Both this buck and especially this head. So it just doesn't feel special. And I said this in my Batman as Green Lantern review. Collector edition figures should feel special. This guy doesn't. He's pretty rock solid. And I don't know whether sort of Krypto is enough to elevate him to being special. I think more could have been done here. I think maybe a brand new head sculpt from top to bottom with a more comic accurate head would have really gone a long way. To have a reused body and a reused head with just a bit of extra hair just feels not enough to me. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. But in terms of what you objectively get out of the box, it's fine. Like, it's a fine Superman figure. I think it's quite a good looking Superman figure if you like this sort of more muscular style. And I don't even know whether there's any point doing an articulation section because we've seen this buck before, but maybe I'll do it quickly. We got the double jointed knees. You can kick out just under 90 degrees. You can stretch it to 90 if you really have to. Excellent butt. And the diaper means that he gets, a solid ass continuity rating of about 8 out of 10. T-pose, no problem. Single jointed elbows, which is sort of a hallmark of those early McFarlane figures. And you see we get those ball joint hinges from the first year of the line. Pretty ugly. And the same at the ankles. His head barely rocks. Can look up that much, down that much. Can obviously rotate 360 degrees. No crunch to speak of at all. He can arch back that much. And he rotates at the diaphragm and at the waist. So yeah, he moves. It's an older figure, and it moves like an older figure. But it's just about adequate for what you would want to do. Let's do some comparisons. First up, Here we have Action Comics 1000 Superman. This is the reissue from the Atomic Skull 2-pack in the lighter blue. When I reviewed that figure, I was really enamored with that lighter color blue of the suit, but when you compare it against Return of Superman that's so much brighter and lighter, I think they could have gone brighter. I really like the Return of Superman coloring. To me, it just pops and really looks like it's jumped out of the comic, so I really, really like that. And here's a comparison with the Hush Superman from the Doomsday Superman 2-pack. This Superman has all the battle damage. You'll see it's on that infected Superman body buck, which is probably the most commonly used body buck for Superman in this line. And you'll see that even though that was sort of a roided out big V-shaped chest, it compares unfavorably in terms of mass to the Dark Knight Returns Superman body buck. Overall, I think this is the better buck for a standard Superman, but what I can't deny when I'm comparing these two is the proportions of this Dark Knight Returns buck just seem more heroic. Like the legs, the thighs are so much thicker, which is what they should be for Superman, like really powerful looking. This guy's legs look anemic, and this just, I think, shows how small and puny most of the McFarlane Supermans have looked. So I kind of like what they're going for here with a bigger, more exaggerated proportion and look for Superman, but I think maybe it might be just a little bit too far, particularly in the torso. I think the torso on this just he looks like a bag of walnuts. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, let me know in the comments if you think I'm completely off base here, but yeah, it's kind of like if you mix these two together, I'd be happy. Like this guy just needs slightly thicker legs and this guy just needs a slightly less exaggerated torso. But anyway, it is what it is. Finally, here's Superman alongside some other Superman-related figures. We have Eradicator and Con-El Superboy from the Return of Superman / Reign of Superman story. That's really, really nice. Having those all together, I think they look pretty good. Of course, we don't yet have a Cyborg Superman, and we don't yet have a Steel. Well, we do have a Steel. It's been released everywhere but in Australia, but I should have that figure soon. I'm sad I don't have them to review together, but very soon I will have Steel. But yeah, these three look really good together, and in the background you'll see we've got Superboy Prime and we've got John Kent. Yeah, I mean, these all look kind of good together. They're all varying shades of blue, they're all various sizes, but what I do like, this Dark Knight Returns buck gives this Superman some prominence. Like, he's bigger than all the rest, and I really like that. And I think overall I'm enjoying the size of this figure more than anything else. The size and the color are great. And I thought it might be fun before I close out to do a head swap between this Solar Suit Superman from the Lois and Clark arc and Return of Superman Superman. Now, of course, the Return of Superman storyline did feature Superman wearing his recovery suit for a lot of it. I think it's a really cool design. It's very 90s, the edgy black suit. But yeah, when we first heard that we were getting a Return of Superman, this is kind of what I expected. I thought we'd be getting this, but with the mullet, maybe a new sculpt, some extra paint, some accurate sort of gauntlets and boots that really match the artwork. But no, we got this sort of blue-suited Superman, which is fine. But let me show you quickly what it looks like with a head swap. So this is what they look like with their head swapped. I actually think that this works out quite well in terms of a Return of Superman Superman. The skin tones aren't a perfect match, but the head sits okay on the peg and it looks okay. Like, you can kind of get away with this, I think, if you want. This, I don't know what this is. Let's call him Daddy Superman. Sorry, anyway. But yeah, that works out quite well, and I think this is like a valid option if you want that more classic recovery suit look. You could do worse than this, I think. So yeah, that's quite nice. So overall, I like this Krypto and Superman Collector Edition set. It's nice, Superman looks good in his bright colour scheme, it's great to see that Dark Knight Returns Superman body buck in circulation again, the mullet is nicely sculpted and painted, and Krypto's fine, he's good. He could have been articulated, but for what he is, I think he's a really, really fun accessory, and it's really, really good to have Krypto in your collection finally after all these years. However, for the price of a collector edition, I think there just needed to be more new in this. A new face sculpt, more accessories, something. As it is, this is just a little bit lackluster. It's fine, it's passable, if you get it, you'll enjoy it. But it doesn't set my world on fire, not after Captain Carrot and Wonder Woman, which are two of the best collector editions we've had to date. So look, if you found this video entertaining, insightful, interesting or helpful, why not give it a like? And if you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you did. It's a small click for you, but it really helps me out. In the meantime, happy collecting, and thank you so much again for watching.